All right, so today we are going to be showing the process as of April 18th, 2020 on how to create a campaign to promote a listing in KW Command. So from your home screen, we're going to start by going to campaigns, which is the little megaphone here on the left-hand side. From there, you're going to see your new dashboard. So this is a brand new dashboard. It shows you the amount that you have spent in the last 30 days, the number of leads. So we've generated 92 leads, 89 of those coming from Facebook, 3 coming from Instagram. You can see how many campaigns you've run and what the engagement as far as likes, comments, and shares has been. But for today, we are going to focus on creating a new campaign to promote a listing. So to do that, you're going to go up to the plus sign, create a new campaign. We're going to do a paid social ad. First thing you're going to want to do is enter a name for that campaign. In an ideal world, this is going to tie to the lead when it comes in so that you'll be able to see which ad that lead came in and generated the inquiry from that consumer. Right now, that functionality is not working. It was working earlier in the week. Currently, it's not. I know they are working behind the scenes on lots of new updates. So it'll be a huge update coming in a few days here. So hopefully that will address that. So for this one, I like to call them the property that I am going to be promoting. So this is going to be 106 East Stockton. The next thing you need to do is choose your goal. We have lots of goals with those campaigns: advertise listings, advertise multiple listings. Most of them have the same functionality behind the scenes, letting the Facebook do its magic. So most of the time, you're either going to advertise a listing or attract buyers. And then you can also work on some of these other things. Again, most of the functionality is going to be the same. The difference in advertise a listing is as soon as you click that and connect it to that, it is going to ask you to pull in a listing specifically. So I'm going to choose advertise listing because this campaign is for promoting listings. Next thing we're going to do is choose where you want this campaign to run. In this case, we're going to choose Facebook and Instagram. Even if you're not a big Instagram user, I would still recommend putting that as an option because it's going to show up as a sponsored ad on there as well. Haven't really dabbled in advertising in Twitter. So for now, we're just going to choose Facebook and Instagram. After you get those selected, you're going to go ahead and set up campaign. And it's going to ask you to pull in a listing. So as I said, I'm going to be doing 106 East Stockton, one of our listings up in Hampstead right now. And if you are on a team, it's not going to automatically pull in that listing for you. So you're going to go to all my listings because your listings most likely go under the Rainmaker. So it's going to pull in all listings. Again, this is what you can also do if it's not your listing that you're promoting. Again, I am quite sure that even if you don't have a listing to promote, if you reach out to any listing agent, I would be fairly confident that most within our market center for sure would let you promote their listing. Reach Properties will definitely let you do that if you don't have a listing of your own. So we're going to go ahead and select that property. What that does is pulls in all the photos and it defaults to the first photo, the main profile, main picture on the multiple listing service. So you have the option to change those pictures down the road. It also, you'll see here, populates it pulls in the remarks straight from the MLS and caps that off at 250 characters. So once you pull that in, the next thing you need to do is select your ad text. So there are 3 sections on here. You have your main copy. That's what's going to show up over here on the right-hand side. You have your headline. That's what's going to show up down here in that section. And then your third part is the description. And one key thing I'll add with that, your description will only be shown sometimes depending on what kind of browser, what kind of browser the consumer is looking in, that call to action description may be cut off. Still good to have that in there though. So for this one, I'm going to change this up a little bit. Best practices on that, not to include bedrooms, bathrooms, that kind of stuff. Really want to highlight lifestyle, amenity type features to the property, location, close to beach, waterfront, whatever really going to stick out on that. So in this case, and I like to put a price in there as well. So we are going to be we're just going to change this up a little bit. So, and then I'm going to cut it off at the Camp Lejeune. So that gets us to 150 characters. Ideal world, they recommend 125. I'm comfortable getting it onto that third line there. Now the headline is, you want to make it flashy, what you're trying to get across. So again, I like to get that price in there today. And then your third part is going to be your call to action. Again, big part with that is you want to make sure that what your call to action, so you're saying you're going to take a virtual tour today, you want to make sure that that is in fact what they're getting by clicking on that that profile. So I'm going to do take a virtual walkthrough again. And then you'll see on the right-hand side what that's going to look like. Go ahead and hit Save Add Text. So our goal with these campaigns is to make sure that all these green check boxes, circles have check marks in them. So as you can see, we've got Add Text, Add Media, and Name Goal already do. Now, the next thing we're going to do, even though it is there, we are going to change the photo out or have some options and go over some options there. So to do that, even though it defaulted to that cover photo, we're going to go ahead and hit configure. So you have the option to choose images or video. And then if you click on the three dots there, you have the option to change images. And then you also have the option to add more. So if you want to add more photos to make it a carousel style ad, you can do that by clicking on add more. And then you'll just choose a couple photos from there. And that will make it a carousel type ad. And then we're going to have to crop those images. So as you can see, you can add, I believe up to 5 is the number that you can add currently in the carousel. I could be wrong with that number. So you see it created that carousel type ad, keeping the content of your copy exactly the same. So that's what we're going to do there. We chose 3 of those photos. Go ahead and hit Save Add Media. The next thing you need to do is control your channel options. So as we did, we chose Facebook and Instagram. So we're going to configure those ads. So this is where you need to choose the page. So in order to run a campaign, you do have to be connected to a business page in Facebook. So you're going to, on the right-hand side here, select which page that is going to be connected to. So I have multiple pages that I manage. So we're going to choose Reach Properties for this one. You'll see that it changed the logo and changed the page there. So this is what it's actually going to look like in a desktop browser. You also have the option to see what it's going to look like on a mobile browser. From there, you need to choose your where it's going to show on an Instagram ad. You have the choice of being an Instagram ad, so in the news feed, or as a sponsored post in a Instagram story. So your choice on that, I'm going to leave it for this one to Instagram ad. Now, the next thing you want to do, and this is a really key point here, is your destination. So this is, again, you want to make sure that it does connect as well as possible to your lead generation, to your call to action. So in this case, I have I'm going to be forwarding it to a virtual tour site. Well, in this case, a custom page that we have created. So we are going to use the Facebook lead generation form for that. So Facebook has created a form that gets phone number, email, and name of everybody that it does capture. And those leads all go into your command account for you to as a lead, and you have the option to distribute and start acting upon them as you see fit. So you then have the option to also send them to using a site or a landing page. Now this is a big point here. If you have another lead generation platform that you are still currently using, whether it's Commissions Inc. or Real Geeks or Boomtown or one of those other third-party websites, and they have a forced capture behind that, you want to make sure that you choose one or the other. I would definitely highly recommend against using two forms of lead capture. So in other words, don't have them fill out the Facebook lead generation form in order to get to your site, which has another lead generation gate on that as well. So if you're going to use that, you're going to just use a site or landing page instead of the Facebook lead generation form. Next thing you choose is your call to action label. So very limited on that right now. It's just learn more, sign up, and apply now. Different types of ads. Back when we were choosing which type of ad this was, different types of ads do have different call to actions in them. So we're just going to leave it as learn more. And now the next part, and probably one of the most important parts outside of what your lead generation form is where are you going to be sending them to? So again, very important. If you told people you're going to take a virtual tour, you're going to take them on a 3D tour, take them to a website, that in fact, when they register, they get to that destination. So you have two options here. You can either copy and paste a URL, which is what we're going to do for this, or you can choose a site from your KW site and then we'll connect to that and pull in the URL for you. So if you choose site, all of the app options for your actual KW site will show up here. Or in this case, like I said, we're going to choose a destination, and I have created a landing page for this. That is right here. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that landing page back into that follow-up destination URL, and I'm going to paste that right in there. So what that's saying is that once they click and complete the lead generation form, it's going to send them to this landing page. So you can see I've created a landing page that has that guided tour, big YouTube video on there, and then it also brings in the listing from this. So that is another training where I've created that single property site. So look on the YouTube page for that to see what that process looks like. I'm not going to go into that for this one. So that's what chose for there. And as you can see, now we're green on our destination. The third thing is our ad targeting. So it's going to default to 20 miles from the location of the property, or you can go in and choose some custom settings. So to do that, you're going to go ahead and hit this radio button to on, and then you have some choices here. You can either target your database, which we'll go into in depth in a future video, or you can create a custom audience. So the default is going to be that custom audience. You're going to do that. You're going to choose a location. Again, we're going to keep it to Hampstead. Your next thing you're going to want to do is change the radius. So you cannot go below 15 miles for that. So that is a Facebook rule with the special ad category that real estate now falls under as far as anti-discrimination lawsuits and stuff like that. Facebook had to make that move and protect us from that. So you can change that. The lowest you can go is 15, and then you can go higher if you wanted a bigger audience. So the next option you'll see under here is expert targeting. So this is where you can choose some other interests. My advice on this is to leave this alone. Let Facebook work its magic for you. They've got a lot of data on a lot of people, and they're going to target it in front of the most likely people to click on that ad and to fill out that form. So let them do that work for you. If you go in here, you're going to basically try to override that. So for example, if you want to choose people who like realtor.com, you have the option to choose that as an additional interest. Go ahead and hit save selection. Again, I would not personally recommend that. You're just trying to bypass. You're doing that is going to change the algorithm on what Facebook already creates. And like I said, Facebook has a bunch of information. Let it do its thing. If you want to get fancy and do that kind of stuff, absolutely can. You might want to do that with more, you know, maybe a demographic lifestyle, as far as, you know, golf memberships or boaters or stuff like that. You can do that kind of stuff to get a little more experted targeting, but again, that would why I would call that expert. So once you have that all set up, you go ahead and save in Facebook and Instagram ads. You're almost there. Last thing you want to do is your duration and budget. So we're going to go in there, and it defaults to a 10-day duration. Now, again, the Facebook math shows that they're able to fine tune the best audience for that ad, the longer they have to run that. So they recommend a default of 10 days. If you're promoting an event, you're probably not going to be doing that for 10 days. We definitely know we're not having we don't know necessarily open houses 10 days before they happen. So you're going to choose a duration, and that you can change that in there, change that to the 23rd. It's going to be a 4-day ad. And then the next thing you choose is your budget. You can choose that's going to be the total cost of the campaign. You'll see we have 2 channels selected. So we had Facebook and Instagram, and the default is going to distribute evenly across the 2 channels. So this is the final thing you have to do. Again, I'm going to use Facebook's AI and data to use automatic placements for Facebook ads. And what this does is it's going to pick the best times, the best rotation as far as Instagram to Facebook. Wherever it's performing better, they're going to put more money towards that for you. And then they're going to get the cost per lead down by using that. So I like to check that off. Again, that takes the thinking out of you. It's dynamic. It's going to adjust how much it's going to spend in Instagram and Facebook based on where it's getting the best traction. So once that's done, you go ahead and hit save duration and budget. And then the final step, you're ready to go. You got all of your things all checked off as green. You go ahead and hit publish campaign. I am not going to do that because I actually already have this ad running. So once you get back to this screen here, it's going to show you, and this would be orange and say pending review. Now, a big thing with that, if for some reason you use some language in the ad that it doesn't like and it gets rejected, it will say rejected in here, and then there will be a little info thing that says it has been rejected. You know, a couple examples of that. I've seen walking distance get kicked out on there because that could be a discriminatory term, because what if you can't walk? They don't like that word. Again, I think it was Pete Key who had one the other day. He put outdoor bar in there, and it got rejected because it was did not fall in that special ad category because he wasn't advertising alcohol. He didn't choose that, even though it said outdoor bar. The AI behind it said, oh, we're going to flag that and reject it. So that is all for this one. Stay tuned for some other campaign ideas. The next one we're going to be doing is a price reduce list. And then finally, a third one is how you can promote an event using campaigns and get some lead generation that way. So that's all for now. Hope you enjoyed this, and good luck on your campaign.